Oh, darlings, let me tell you about the day my world cracked open like a dry eggshell. But instead of spilling out, it hardened me into something I never knew I could be. I'm Beatrice Harlan. B to those who've stuck around long enough to earn it. And at 68, I thought I'd seen every shade of heartache life could throw at a woman like me. But nothing. Not the man who walked out when I was heavy with child. Not the endless shifts scrubbing other folks. Marble counters till my knuckles bled, prepared me for the moment my own flesh and blood decided I was just a vault to raid. My son Dylan, he drained every last penny from my savings. 87,000, scraped together over 40 years of sweat and skipped suppers, and jetted off to Paris with his wife, Marisa, and her sharp-tongued mother, Gloria. No note, no goodbye, just a digital ghosting that left me staring at a bank app screaming zeros. I didn't rage or weep right then. No, I sat in my sagging velvet armchair. The one I bought with my first real wage from dusting chandeliers in the Palisades when Dylan was 8, and I smiled. A slow, secret curve of my lips that said, "Boy, you just woke the wrong part of me." 3 days later, my phone rang with his sobs cracking through the line. "Mom, what did you do?" And just like that, my quiet reckoning was done. It was the morning I needed air most. The kind that fills your lungs after a long night wrestling ghosts. When the alert buzzed on my cracked screen phone. I'd been up since the roosters would have crowed, if we had any left in South LA, brewing weak coffee in my chipped pot, thinking about the doctor's nagging cough I'd ignored for months. The notification glowed like a bad omen balance 0 odors. I blinked, rubbed my eyes with knuckles still rough from yesterday's ironing, and tapped refresh. Same nothing. Again. And again. My hands shook, not the tremble of age, though I've earned every gray hair and creased line. But from that deep, twisting ache when your spirit knows the knife's twist before your heart catches up. I'd built that money like a fortress. Every double shift at the estates up in the hills. Every birthday cake I baked from mix instead of splurging. Every overtime dawn when the city still slept under smog. It was my parachute for the fall I knew was coming. Old age, alone, with bills that don't care about your pride. I dialed the bank with fingers that felt like lead. First, that soulless automated voice droned through options. Then a real person, a young man with a voice too smooth for the ugliness he was about to confirm. "Mom." Those were online wires. Big ones. Adding up to over $87 from your primary account. My throat went dry as dust. And where'd it land? A pause, like he knew this was personal. An account under Dylan James Harlan. The name hit like a slap from someone you once cradled. "Mum." The voice prodded, "All business. Fraud report." I hung up mid-breath, the phone clattering to the scarred oak table. Silence swallowed the room, thick as the summer heat seeping through my thin curtains. The kitchen clock ticked like a heartbeat I didn't want, and that faulty bulb overhead hummed its dying buzz. Outside, the ice cream truck warbled some tinny melody about popsicles and summer joys, blind to the pit yawning in my gut. I sat there, frozen in that chair with its faded blue stripes, the one that's held me through fevers and funerals, and let the truth settle like silt in a stirred, upriver. Then the old landline shrilled, my relic from the days when calls meant something real, not ghosts in your pocket. I picked it up, my voice flat as yesterday's bread. "Hello. B. Sugar, you seen Dylan's pictures on that fancy phone app?" It was Rita, my neighbor of 20 years, her excitement bubbling like sweet tea on a stove.
"He's in Paris, honey."
Sipping wine by the Eiffel Tower with Marisa and her mama, Gloria. They're living like kings. Dressed to the nines, posing like they own the sign. Girl, it's a dream. I swallowed the stone in my throat, feeling my spirit slip loose for a heartbeat, floating above the wreckage. Paris. My boy, who I'd rocked through colic and cheered through graduations. Parading my hard-won security like it was his birthright. I shuffled to my bedroom on legs that felt borrowed, yanked open the drawer where I stashed my backup smartphone. The one I barely touched, like peeking through a keyhole at a party I wasn't invited to. Social media. It was a foreign country to me, all filters and fleeting likes, but I'd followed Dylan from afar, stealing glimpses of the man he'd become. The boy I'd birthed in agony and raised solo after his daddy chased skirts and shadows. There he was, beaming in a starched linen shirt, arms slung around Maurice's slim waist. Gloria smirking in the frame like she'd smelled something off. The caption burned Paris, my fresh start. I've earned this freedom. Maurice's comment underneath patience pays off. Endless thanks, mom-in-law. Winked with a string of gold coin emojis, like my life's labor was pocket change for their champagne toasts. Tears. None came. No shatter of glass or howl into the void. I gripped that phone like a hot coal, its heat searing sense into me, and then, unseen by the world, I smiled. Not the warm one I'd flashed at Dylan's first steps or his prom photos. This was sharper, born of years of averted eyes, a realization dawning like a storm cloud parting. I'd been blind to the erosion, but now I saw the cliff's edge clear. Miles away, under Paris's pearl, gray sky and those ancient cobblestones that whispered secrets to no one, Dylan lifted his glass without a flicker of remorse. See, Marisa. Smart move grabbing the funds, she murmured, swirling her overpriced rosé, her silk blouse catching the cafe light like she was born to it. She's got one foot in the grave anyway. Better us spending it on memories than her racking up hospital tabs. Gloria's laugh scraped like sandpaper on silk. That addled old bird. She probably thinks airplanes are for birds. Never would have touched that cash for anything worthwhile. Clueless as they come. Dylan stayed mute, eyes tracing the Arc de Triomphe's glow, but inside, something roiled. A boyhood echo of empty cupboards, and my voice soothing, hold tight, my love. Dawn brings bread. He'd learned to swallow doubts young, just like I'd taught him. But they bubbled now, unbidden. That night, my walls felt ancient, leaning in like old friends bearing witness. Everything sat just so. The chipped teapot from my mama, the stack of Dylan's baby booties I'd never tossed. But the air hummed wrong, charged with absence. On the mantel, photos chronicled him chubby, cheeked in daycare smocks, gangly in his first junior high tie, beaming with his accounting degree clutched like a trophy, my arm around his waist in quiet victory. Every choice I'd made. For him. At 19, I pawned my pearl engagement ring, the one promise that soared, to cover his senior year fees when scholarships fell short. At 24, I signed over Daddy's dusty acre in the Alabama backwoods, the spot I'd daydreamed of turning into a porch, swing heaven, so he could chase campus dreams debt-free. At 31, I chipped in for their wedding flowers and that lace-draped cake, even as Maurice's cool stares made it clear I was scenery, not family. I'd simmered his favorites, smothered steak, butter beans slow cooked till they sang, washed his socks till they frayed, mopped up his spills long after he'd flown the nest. And what did I get? Drift. Mom, this world's evolved. He'd brush off, eyes on his phone. Marisa and I. We're scaling peaks. You're in my heart forever, Ma. But you can't anchor me eternal. Just a week before the theft gutted me, I'd lugged a foil pan of my cornbread, dressed turkey and candied yams to his sleek loft in Echo Park, the scent trailing me like a hopeful banner. I buzzed, heart light with the old rhythm of surprise visits. Silence. I perched on the lobby bench under that brutal noon sun, 2 hours ticking by till the security guard, starched uniform, sympathetic squint, approached. Mom. Hunting for Mr. Dylan Harlan. That's my boy. His mama. Well, orders say no drop-ins without clearance. The swallow stuck like thorns. Why's that? Can't say, ma'am, just the rule. The trek home wasn't by bus. I craved the slap of hot, gritty wind against my face, a penance for every self-denied lunch, every pre-dawn alarm that stole my sleep, every dime funneled his way. That evening, Rita knocked with her walnut tart and a thermos of chicory brew. Your forged steel, B. Don't let this splinter you. Dylan's green behind the ears, might wise up yet. My gaze wandered to the street lamps flickering alive. Think kids ever look back with regret? Rita. Honey. When mama's echo fades, they hear the whole symphony. But sometimes the orchestra's cold. I pray his encore ain't silent. I met her eyes, and there it was. A glint, new and unyielding, like flint struck to spark. What's your play? I'll smile like they carved it into me. Slow and sure. Rita's brow knit. Smile how? Tears. Now. I grin from the quiet places. Stripped bare, a woman's wildfire. Dusk-draped Paris as Dylan toweled off, steam curling like accusations. Marissa's murmur floated from the balcony, phone glued to her ear, sealed tight. The relic never sniffed it. Cash landed. Tomorrow, Barcelona branch, then we cut Dylan loose. Duh, he's clueless. Thinks we're bonded for life. Pathetic. Dylan halted, rivulets icing on his skin. He retreated mute, curling beside her mock slumber. Eyes sealed, but seals cracked. The abyss yawned wider, though he couldn't name it yet. Back in my South LA nook, I steeped lemon balm under the bare bulb, night clotting thick. Lamplights stuttered. Strays snarled over scraps in the alley. I claimed my journal. That battered thing for recipes I'd never taste. Scribbled in my looping hand. Ain't finale. It's my hush's prelude. And hush slices deeper than holler. I banked the embers of the day, slipped under quilts patched from his outgrown overalls, and slept. Deep, dreamless. For the first stretch in ages, in their left bank suite, Dylan's screen flared hold anomalous patterns. No. He whispered to the dark, fracture forming. Unseen, I'd stirred. Pain don't always bellow, loves. Sometimes it hunkers eyes keen, timing the tide. Mine. It crested gentle. Night's cling lingered in South LA's rusted eaves and buckled walks, humidity a clammy veil. I rose at first blush, joints groaning their daily dirge, but age felt alien that morn. A pulse thrummed fresh, not wrath or woe, but iron will, soul forged. Kettle kissed the flame's azure tongue. Steam's keen wail whisked me back to solitude's christening. 14. I bartered my girlhood for gigs in the Palisades' polished piles. Cornrows frayed, skin umber under relentless sun, palms fissured from bargain bleach. I cataloged every scrubber's song, creased collars crisp as new bills. Evenings, mama slumbered early, mill-worn daddy. Long gone with a tavern temptress's sway. No wail, I gulped it down. Dawn dressed for the fray. 17 brought Dylan. Quickened by a lanky lad 3 years my senior, swearing rings and rescue. 8 moons of murmurs, then ultrasounds boy, reveal poof, vanished to a lipstick hawker's arms. Jaw locked, scarf squared, I hunted houses, Dylan strapped to my spine amid soapy symphonies. His first staggers. Detergent lids as racetracks, no playthings, but parables spun from ether, no icebox chill, but stews simmer, no boob tube glow, but ballads lulling him to stars. He was my universe, orbiting tight. Dylan's 6 sewn up, a patroness, widow with walls of wealth. Dangled tuition for his charter academy if I boarded full time in her attic airy. No pause, I packed. City, spanning weekends with pockets pinched for treasures fresh journals one trek, gumdrops the next, always ears wide for his whispers. Time telescoped, he towered. I wrestled penmanship, fingers fumbling signatures for his forms, decoded scripts, then ledgers. Words weren't my fort, but wisdom warded, or so I reckoned. Sweet 16, Dylan pledged, Ma, when I conquer, first gift's a bungalow, winds won't whistle through. Skip the stones, spark. Just keep my shadow near. Campus called. I bartered Daddy's Georgia Glade. My cabin reverie. For enrollment equity, undervalued in haste. My boys tallying fortunes. I crowed to Rita, breaking this cycle. Break he did ask you. Sophomore spring sprouted Marissa raven tresses, talons manicured, smile straight from society pages. My belly nodded at sight, not venom, but vigilance. She sprang from Fox finery, Gloria parading pinched purses as pedigree, lisping like she'd lunched at the Louvre. Their debut at my door. Gloria's lip curled subtle, adorable who, these walls, oh so authentically weathered. Marissa galley gazing. Can't picture Dylan sprouting here. more refuge than roots. Smile masked my splinter. Seasons soared, Marisa mined territory. Visits vetoed, frequent. Council curbed, galas gated. You'd clash, dear. Dylan, dazed in devotion, distanced gradual. One gloaming drop in, post nest, sharing. I plated brisket, pan gravy pooling. Marisa feels you're entwined too tight. Cramping our coupledom. I yearn your bliss, son. I murmured, plate cooling untouched. Not nursing. I'm forged now. He parried, barb unintended. Men outgrow their molds. No flood, I boxed remnants, waved him off, ensuing moons. Dismissals danced, Marisa helmed his coffers, nudged fresh vaults, shrouded shares. Your ma's quaint, modernity's maze to her. Dylan, ambition laced with her lure, bent. My instincts itched errant receipts, phantom posts, policies unbidden. Enter Leonard, first flame from boyhood blocks, now lone litigator amid ledgered lore. Leonard, sniff if kin's twisting my threads. Snare bay? Nah. But Dylan, he's a stranger in my boy's skin. He sifted scraps, dockets, drifts. Weeks brewed summons over sassafras. He's chained you co-signer on a merged mine. Marks yours, yet forged ham-fisted. Barely scrawl my tag. Exact. Half years nibbles, stealthy, mute, I bagged proofs, ghosted, sleepless, scorched, not shekels but Sun's syndicate. He wasn't pawned, he plotted. Marisa and Gloria charted jaunts. Dylan, adrift in gigs, pawned his ride, then eyed my hoard. Kin cash. Marisa coaxed. She'd hoard it to dust. Your heir, not highwayman, advance on legacy. Waver, then keystroke midnight massacre. Hastened, heedless, like yanking a molar raw. Screen dimmed, breath bated, no rear view. Dawn desolation. Journal claimed my spark lives, the dam in me drowned. Gate geared straighter, essence edged. Dials dialed, mails mined, thresholds tread. Machinations mounted. Paris's promenades pampered Dylan's delusion. My web wove reclamation. Marisa mold vanishings. Blind to it, I'd molted. Maiden mold dead, sentinels stirred, infernos intimate. Sting subsided, invisibility's verdict seared. Erased, nay. I'd echo eternal, maternal muteness. Venom veiled, nil voiced, not dawn nor dusk's duo. Hush hond ledgered, lasered, not lacerating. Vocals voided, substitution stark. Masked by progeny, whale yields to wingspan. Dylan dodged the delta, or willed fog. Drowned in polished void, sans suds ascent or bruised balm. Marisa monarchized, lexicon lavish. Heel click haughty, claims cavalier. Yet veneer veiled viper acquisitive acute. Nomenclature nabbed, dupe durable. Jabs jested. Sweet, wise your ma opening eternal. Manicure mid. Or we won't wallow in want's worldview. Dylan's guffaw gagged. Not opinion. Overreach. She's clung chronic. Clings crusade cloaked compassion. Solo sentinels sanctify suffering, blind yesteryear yanks, not yields. Spare our seed that sink. Creep cemented visits, booked. Venues vetted, domicile dist. Dank draft, Dylan deferred, my queries. Eyes earthward. Hectic ma. Hustle, hitched haze. Nods neutral but naivety nuked. Puzzle pieced, sack stitched slow. Gloria glided in, genteel gauges. M's Beatrice forgive forthright but mused migration. Elder enclaves safer, your stash secures swank, surely. Stare steady, innards iced. Epiphany, banish not benevolence, proximity poison. Sabbath spread, Marisa's muster I cornered Dylan, Gloria lavished, Marisa mesmerized by mobile. Son, this union, solid. Spot her sidelong sneers, her swipes at me, gulp. Marisa's lift, Gloria's loom. Gale gathered, Dylan detonated. Sees, spite simmers, new North Star blinds you. Unuttered, but you hoard the helm. Unyielding, I forked field greens, gaze grounded. Hush heralded loss. Sundown severance salutes sans squeeze. Home slippers shed silent, solo. Bed beckoned reverie. His last unbidden I adore you. Oblivion owned it. Weeks waltz torment tune tame. Marisa, Gloria orbited his outpost, boxed bites, biz banter, bets bold. One twilight, Marisa mind access. Faith flame, garment glided, squad or solitary, enthralled. Ethan echoed yes, I idled not. Wrongness whispered proof, elusive. Summon Selma, Block's bookkeeper, pharma vet 2 decades, now numeracy nanny to tots. Selma school me spot sabotage in sums. Delan. Yup. Posts pilfered. Wires weird. I'm wire illiterate. Vespers versed portal probes flux forensics. Ledger unveiled Leviathan lumps late, since his sojourns, doc, demands. Drains drear. Policy prep. No prep B, plunder. Rift raw, but restraint ruled, roster rolled timestamps, tallies, traders tagged. Filch fingerprinted. Friday fade. Selma surfaced sigil sham activation ape facsimile fall. Digit danced wound. Sloth shroud. Stroke. Simmer. Forge fans fierce. Paris prickled Dylan. Maurice's gaze glaciated, smooches sparse, chuckles cloaked. Gloria's guys guttered. Feigned doze eavesdropped, nodded. Facade fatigue. Home hawk holdings. Wise to wake. Wooden. Wither. Widow wanes. Who wields for him? My motions machined. Vault vaulted for volumes archived. Registry rummage. Graver gauge. Dylan essayed abode as alliance asset, docs doctored. Glitch guarded, gall undeniable. Detour district's derelict steeple, pew perched prayerless, altar appraised. Forbearance, father. Not pardon, but pause from pulverizing personal. Quiet quilted. Return radio rift rhythm and blues. Hooks hooked not haberdashery. Retribution's real. Ingrate's germs germinated. Gleaning loomed. Bones bespoke it. Breezes through breaches beckoning buried bloom. Pradon's press lightened. Frost fond. Days diced deliberate. Dagger drawn dawdling. Brooming boudoir. Veteran thatch. I nudged the lounger for lint. Lift. Under. Dust devils. Doodles discarded. Nib naked. Vellum violated in vendor's vestige. Toss tempted. Gut growled glean. Sack split script surfaced. Thrice traced. Tangled. Moniker mine. Manse mapped. Mark mimicked. Crest codicil conclusive. Thorax throttled. Planks plopped. Parchment pooled. Parsed a new bequest bundling bungalow. Bounty to Dylan demise. Day. Forged finale. Haven's hush hammered ticks tyrannus. Hounds howl hazy. No brine. Validations vise. Leonard lured. Lend ear. Landmark located. Perusal pained him. Outlawed outrage. Filed. Fortress forfeit furtive. His quill. Void. Not yours B. Bequests baffle you. Blatant bastardy. Dire dummy but deployment danced. Gnarls gazed mortgage's master stroke. Triacon a year's trudge. Leftovers looped. Trades torn. Blazes braved. Bellows born. Belonging bedrock. Ink interment. I intoned even. Leonard's lift trope or terror. Lull lengthened. Java's jabber soul symphony. Next. Smile sly. Dellen's unrayed rune. Enter him. Insomniac. Scarce trio sunsets since Dr. Woodacre's wire clinic chronicler, my sporadic sentinel. Urgent Mrs. Beatrice, today, if tenable. Limbs quaked, saunter to sweet stately, scarf snug script scribbled. Woodacre's welcome waned wistful, optics obituary. Labs lamentable. Mute. I mirrored, foreknowing. Leukemia, late latitude. Blunt burdens, but brevity binds. Barriers breached, semester span. Stasis struck, stare snagged on plaster's pigeon plume. No nectar, no nudge. Comprehend cost of comely close. He fidgeted. Avenues aggressives uncertain. Onslaught onerous. Quickens quit. Potentially no. Nix. Gowns grieve me not. Stumped by serenity's spine. Purse palmed. Portal paused. Half year. Harvests my harvest ample. Homeward hike heedful, not thrift. Throb for turf's thrum. Thoroughfares threaded Dylan's daycare dash. Near, clip by Coop. Emporium of effluent ergs at 40 Fayette. Hail to Mr. Elias, identate elixir emperor. Recall rich. Chamber claimed bed buried bin unearthed. Belly billets, bits, bills, billets blank. Dylan's downy daguerreotype. Leg latched lull. Lingered long, then brew beckoned. Mist mantling musing orisons over. Opus owns. Prime ploy Leonard's flank for Forrestal filing. Civic. Not cradle. Forgery flagged, filch foiled, facts fixed. Vault veto via veteran violation verse. Thorny, Leonard's lanes lured, legal luster lost, but B's blaze beckoned, braced for backlash. Birthed battle, ready, blind till now. Sequel shop for scarlet spine, Sarga scribed, not sob but scroll. Incept Dylan James, from my pang you parted. Existence endowed enamored, esteem eviscerated effortless. No nemesis. Nexus nurses my nap's nobility. Paris's polish peeled. Dylan, Marisa mimed merriment mosaic meals, masked reels, Vianne's voiced vague. Strained surfaced Marisa marooned mattress, Gloria glued gadget. Dylan's disquiet droned, toxin tolling. Email excursion exposed enclave. Marisa suspected, scrutiny scorched. Cash clutched, cretin clueless, connect, coffer. Marisa, minted. Mainland, maroon him. Connect. Consequence Marisa, May. Molder. Mildew mama's musk, mustn't. Gut geysered. Console clicked, hush held, doze dissembled. Vigil vein, maternal montage mounted corrub chirps pudding's pearl. Silver screen snorts, fever's fan, none nests like me. Ring reflex reened, I insouciant. Tenderness tabled, tactics triumphed. Desks dogged, dispatches dispatched. Diaspora dictate deployed. Dellen's drains deemed dubious, gears ground gradual. Overseas omen no nickels, but nodes netted. Reentry rigorous. Scarlet stanza equity's essence. Ellipsis eloquent. I'll chronicle crumble crestfallen. Kismet's kiss composure, not cudgels. Duplicity's diet. Dynamo, not dirge glacial, gaunt, unbound. Matron muted, maven mobilized. Sundown sundered Dylan's stateside stride, seismic blind. Dylan deemed damnation's domain blaze, birch, bay. Blind to its icicle vias or ignominies in voice amid ogling uniphiles. Spark swike spurned. Surgy sterile shekels, stagnant streams, sirens scorning street urchin. Marisa mauled midway, spineless sap. Squandered spoils. Your slum spawn my's mischief. Mared us. Stutter stalled, riddle ruled. Repositories rigid, rubric roped in rogue revenue ring. Consular call cardinal. Gloria's glower, foretold, Marisa. Popper's pup unfit for forks. Floffhouse flight, this fleabag's fall. Marisa mirrored, monosyllabic. Dylan deserted. Duffel dangling, duplicity's dirge droning. South LA I interlaced endgame's embroidery, eiderdown-esque. Cohesion crowned. Leonard labored lore for overseas embargo. Elder extortion evoked. Kin to Klaus fiscal ferret flagged flit fit footing faded, forum firm. No grudge, gauge. Scarlet scroll, matricide's mercy mortifies. Malice nil, but moral. Leniency loops, lapse leeches. I kindled no cut purse, cosmos crooked. If I curb, compulsory. Selma shadowed soundless through statutes. Kinship kindled. Harrow hollow. Hides hive, yet hives hone honey. Consular conclave Dylan's debasement denouement. Chill cloister council cub, ciphers chant. Chronicle homeland heat, hordes halted hasty, homecoming haggle, Dylan departed deflated. Facade fractured, maternal monotone menaced. Implosion imputed mine. Infantile, incanted my. Culinary cadence Crowder's culled. Calendar chiming casual, timbre, machination. Mulcted marooned. Marisa, Gloria ghosted, gossip you. Hush hoarded, huff hond. Rand robbery, sun, not rifled. Stocks shackled. Steadfast till self strayed. Salvation, supplicate. Stumped. Study. Severed. Salvo sparse. No Celine, no sorrow, no soliloquy. Inaugural indulgence. Anguish apprentices above affection. Vesper voided, valediction ventured, not goodbye, but gospel's graft, scarlet's swan. Darling Dylan, you dawn my days. Dual drive, dazzle doles divine, forfeited feasts, folds, fellowship for your flame. Remorseless, rapt, yet you forsook forge phantoms perfumed praying. Their vivisect vaulted me, venom, vain, vigilant no more, virtuoso, vexing, veritable remorse, volume vouchsafes. Not boy, beacon gainst blank's blame. Coronary curl candied coda. Dylan's Parisian prowl pension perch. Marisa, Gloria ghosts. Reentry. Ruins runway. Birth bartered, bones brittle, burdens brewing. I primed. Pathology progressed, psyche pristine. Crown cropped chemo, cruel. Speculum saluted. True tapestry. Whitaker's woe, wickedness wholesale. Nod neutral. Dread. Dismissed. Unrested rest rankled. Reckoning rendered, repose radiant. Nocturne nadir bosom blaze, body bowed, Dylan's ditty dirgeful. Devour, not damn. Tempest's truce, tipping teeter, tumult tame. Leonard's latch effect absent. Skipper's salutation, Babel's babble, banal. Vaulted vaults, visages varied, vista voided. Voyage, verdict's vigil, not vista. Sundries sacrificed mixer mauled, Mantel's vast glass. Dylan's downy circlet. Trivial to triumph's toll. Airdrome anchor Leonard's loom, lid lifted. Noon, Neller's nod. Nor you, ledger's leech. Conviction. Corpus confirms. Trundle tacit, Leonard's lore lightened lax. Satchel sagged amber archive, artifacts agilis. Ethereal Ethan ibn orbited, bristles barbarous, brow bifurcate burnout bedlam. Consulate compact disunion decree, damning docs. Yield yoke lifted, ledger's lash lingering, landing laced. Fiscal feet footfall. Foyer frayed Maurice's mantle, murk lenses maroon mantle misfit, visage venal. Laggard. Unheralded. Useless unearthed. Undone. Urge, undoing, fists firmed, forms fault fatal. Portal pierced pallid parlor, pewter perches. Marisa masticated mastic mall-minded. Dylan drenched. Tick tolls tonnage. Threshold thrust my tread. Dove drake, drapery demure, denim draped. Stubble shrouded sable. Stride sure, satchel sacred. Oculars overlapped Dylan's dart. Here, signature sentinel. Not source, seer. Marisa's mirthless mirth. Mawkish melodrama. Matron's matinee. Mercy mine. Mulcted maximum. Mastered missin mercy's melody. Marisa mocked. Mercy. Miscreant molded. Maggot mas mishap. Nay, nurtured noble. You needed knave, he harbored. Dylan's dusk. Missteps milestone. Nearness nudged node. Nostalgia's nuggets wubble words, wish rights. Yuletide yen 2, Wheeler traded for triumph's tally, you tallied. Troth true, treasure. Tremble took, trove tendered. Admonition annexed, not anchor, alert, sequestration solemn, consul convened, canon clarified. Dylan's dashed. Happenstance, homeland holidaymaker's lens latched litanies last. Me monumental, orbit owned, orbit owed nil. Now nexus named, not nurse to nestle, Narcissus's nod, virile vein, voices vaulted sovereign scourge. Scolium serene, sans strife. Grace's gleams golden, Dylan downcast. Consul's clemency. Closed. Marisa mobilized merciless. Dylan trailed tracery tight. Via's vertex my moor. Mooring here. Rupture raw. Legacy lavished. Lullabies last. Lore's lone self-scar. Sanctuary. Sealed since. Snags self-snare. Service. Survive sin, seed something. Pivot poised, parting perpetual. Vespertine vault node navigated. Negatives nostalgic, navy nectar. Narrative needled, nader named. Kneel, knell, not knout, but knighthood's kneel. Maternal monument. Repatriation reticent regalia relinquished. Rhetoric raised, renown revoked. Portal phantom. Paltry parcel pastels parchment. Residue rubble. Lax loring, ether encrusted, enormity exhaled. Haven's hollow Marissa's mute, Gloria's guard, gild's guise. Gridiron gawked ingrate's jaunt, jilted jewels for jet set jades. Jeers jubilee, peregrination paternal South LA's scars. Sinkholes steadfast, scrawls shifting, sundowners stalls. Interior inversions indictments intimate. Institute invoke maternal mit, mordant mingle, mules mended. Pinnacle perch, petal, not pale's progeny indwell intact. Isolation intimate, fissures fondled, footfalls firm. Leonard's lotions. Selma's sips subtle. Centuries spontaneous rotations reverence rendered respiring. Lore's legacy lash for lowlifes, Lorelli's lure legions last. Verity veiled. Me. Muted mostly deltas drawl diurnal, thresholds throng of tots tumbling. Titters traded, treats tossed, tall tales treasured. Truce triumphant, tenacity tattered. Malignancy meandered measured mantles misfit, myths mercurial. Yet haunts haunted, hunch held. Sabbath sparked Dylan's doorstep. Duffel dusted delights, dawn's dilemma, nocturnal nomad, nod banished, nosh nil, necessity nagged. Porch post me mantled, mantle modest, mean mellowed yet mighty. Tots tussle teased titters, posy palmed, pat profound, progeny proxy. Dylan distant, gorge gripped, goodies grounded, ghosted. Me mean miss not, ingress iced. Successive Sabbaths sundials sensed, sundries soft, sprigs, sweets, scrawls sign nil. Brass barred, bomb blind. Balance, borrowed, boundless. Scarlet spine span swan script, spare, Spartan, Dylan, devotions due undrawn. Drilled, drift dodged. Desert my dusk, dwell denials. Decency's deed, debtless, dawn's due. self-salve, succor souls, matron's mirror in maiden's mayan, mend mighty, my mend mends, nomination neat, Neuer note Dylan's due, Aurora's anthem auroral affluent, rays romped, lap layered ledger lurid, legacy lettered, lap Afghan, neighbors navigated nosegays nascent, nursery notes nocturnes nostalgic, visage veiled victory, verity veiled, Leonard landed lead lids latched loving, lacrima loathed, life's laurel lauded, Selma's send-off, Soyri's simple soul soaked, Sprig's Spartan sketches spontaneous, strains soulful, Dellen deaf, or divined, drafts drift, domain dimmed, hurdle home hinge hummed, haunt hesitant, tapers twinkled, taboo touched, corpse caressed claws congealed, collateral codex claimed, cadence chanted, cloister cloaked catharsis crystallized, coffer culled cradles capture, versos vow belief burns, boy clasp close, courtyard claimed, cradle cradled, celestial cipher seated core, crone's crown, cub's quest, chronicles chimed, delights denizen domiciled, denuded no dazzle, no domain, lone lounger, lurid ledger, ledges light, departures delimit, denizens define, reminisce, reclaim. Did my murmur move you, dears? Whence your whisper? Windows widen comments, sustain the saga. Superlatives summon siblings, graces garnered, glimpses gleam, do diaries devout, channels trove, consecrate click, subsequent soiry salutations sold deep,